Good afternoon. My name is Alan Koh. Today's talk is on sinus problems and how energy medicine serves to support the body's metabolic processes to improve these medical conditions or even to prevent them from happening altogether. If you look at the sinus anatomy, these are empty spaces, air-filled in pink color. Side view is what you can see the location of these sinus air-filled areas. Sinusitis is the inflammation, congestion, a lot of liquid filling up those air spaces, causing a heaviness, even headaches, pressure in that area. And inflamed sinuses, it says that, do not drain properly and therefore causing those symptoms that I mentioned earlier on around the face area. And much of them can be caused by infections, bacteria, viruses. Others can be caused by just the pollutants in the air, like smoke, pollens, etc. There are two types of sinusitis. Some people just call it sinus, but it's not the correct medical term. Add itis in it means inflammation of the sinus, which is that area. So acute sinusitis and chronic sinusitis are the two types. Acute follows an upper respiratory infections or RT, and like flu, common cold, and after contact even with smoke or pollens can increase our chance of getting some sinusitis. Now, chronic sinusitis is a long-standing exposure to allergens, those substances that cause allergy like pollens and smoke. But it can also be caused by an overgrowth or an outgrowth, anatomically in the nasal area, called nasal polyps in particular. So our aim is to reduce the toxins coming in, to strengthen our immune cells against allergy developments, to kill germs coming in to cause flu and the common cold, and to reduce the size of the polyps through the pulse electromagnetic field, magnetic energy treatment. Now, what are the signs and symptoms of sinusitis? Severe deep pain and pressure in the face area, accompanied by headaches, fever, and even a very irritating post-nasal drip that the liquid at the back of the nose keep on dropping to our throat. You can feel it and it's quite uncomfortable. You can't even control it. Then there's another type of sinusitis called chronic sinusitis, where the symptoms are quite mild, not very severe, but persistent headache, mild persistent headache, and sinus pain in the facial area. And nasal congestion also can happen, and the annoying, irritating post-nasal drip that I mentioned or described earlier on. The mainstream treatments will be just medications to control allergy, which is good to reduce the symptoms if we do not know of any good supporting natural treatments, because these drugs tend to control the allergy, like antihistamines, and the infections, like antibiotics, to relieve the blockage of the sinus membranes. Then some cases of chronic sinusitis may need surgical treatment, and of course surgical complications may be part of it if the surgery is not done perfectly well. And to avoid contact with substances that can cause us to have the allergy, yes, that would be a wise thing to do. But what about electric energy treatment? If you do half an hour of electric energy treatment, it will charge the cells in the respiratory tract, including the nasal area, fully, so more oxygen and nutrients go into these cells, and more toxic waste, harmful chemicals are expelled. As a consequence, and even our immune cells are stronger, it will reduce the risk of infection. Once our immune cells are strong, the nasal cells are strong, our lung cells are strong, then of course we should not get this medical condition, sinusitis, too easily. Magnetic treatment improves blood circulation to the sinus area, transporting yet more oxygen and nutrients, which are repair elements to repair medical conditions or help them to recover. And because blood circulation is also a drainage system, it could drain the toxins and the germs and the excess fluid in the area away from the area much more easily. And therefore self-repair becomes unimpeded. Now, our body has got lots of self-repair, self-recovery systems. Just don't abuse them. On the contrary, try to nurture them by giving them enough water, like drink enough plain water per day, do enough energy medical treatments to increase oxygenation, to increase nourishment, to increase detoxification, and increase blood circulation improvement. And that's exactly what magnetic field treatment does, is to improve the blood circulation. But that's not the only thing magnetic field does. Look at that. Immune cells improvement. And when the immune cells are stronger, they can easily prevent nasal pharyngeal cancer. They can prevent the sinusitis, and they can also prevent autoimmune medical conditions and allergies. Far infrared, on the other hand, to reduce nasal congestion and symptoms by putting the machine against the head area, and the far infrared actually clear the toxins first, reduce the inflammation, and therefore reduce the mucus over secretion. That will reduce the pressure and all this pain in the nasal congested area, and therefore those signs and symptoms of nasal congestion. Thermoxybustion is more peculiar. It's got two treatments in one there. Thermos being thermal heat, where you can feel it. It gets hotter and hotter when you apply certain type of machine onto that nasal area, and this heat dilates blood vessels and help even to clear some small blood clots, and therefore better blood flow to the sinus area, and therefore better transportation of respiratory elements like oxygen and nutrients to repair the medical condition, and more metabolic waste and toxic chemicals from the area will be drained away by the improved blood flow, and that would speed up self-repair, self-recovery of the sinus problem. And moxibustion is to stimulate the local meridian points to enhance an unblocking of qi flows. And qi is also an additional support to energize sinus cells and also immune cells, of course, to accelerate the body's self-healing, self-recovering, and repair metabolic processes. When you add all these four treatments together, there's absolutely no option but for this medical condition to keep on improving over the days, weeks, and even months of treatment. Thank you very much.